Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming, and of course welcome back to Blue Protocol and the Japanese network test. As you can see, my look has slightly changed this time as we are checking out the Mage, also known as the spellcaster in Japanese, but in our version it's the spell weaver. Either way, the name's not that unique, don't know why they're struggling with it so much. Our spellcaster is capable of a lot though, spamming out fireballs or charging them for superpowered hits, penetrating multiple targets by zapping with bolts of lightning, exploding in ice to stun and slow the enemies around you, or just dropping a meteor on their head. With our Spellweaver, you are in control of the battle. How smart are you at casting these big powerful spells while managing your resource EP, which is aggressively drained every time you cast? Today I'm taking a look and explaining the first impressions I have of this spellcaster. So as I said in the introduction there, the spellcaster uses a unique mechanic known as EP, aka mana. This is shown as a bar and number above your character when you're actually in combat. It regenerates extremely quickly, but it also evaporates super quick. Within 2 or 3 spellcasts, you'll have nothing left at all. The idea is that EP allows you to use these really powerful spells, but of course it's limited by the very limited supply of EP. We can easily recover EP by holding the right click down or your special, which will channel it out and restore EP pretty quickly. But you're held in place when you're doing that, so you're exposed and vulnerable. You also have different class skills to pop, which will generate some EP back or give you, say, regenerating EP for a period of time. Finally, you can also get EP back by just not being in combat, which is pretty standard. When, say, using a skill to restore EP, you can absolutely spam abilities during that like a machine gun of spells, not worrying about charging anything up and just dumping mana before it's fully regenerated again. It's extremely powerful and really fun, and that's sort of the crux of this spellcaster. As a caster though, you're also at ranged, so you can either free aim or you can use middle mouse button to target and lock onto enemies, which makes it a bit more likely you'll hit them. There is collision with spells, which is interesting, so the front center enemy will take the hit rather than the one you might actually be targeting. So using certain spells that can penetrate, as mentioned before, well, that could be useful too. As I mentioned though, you can channel spells and charge them up to make them more powerful. To begin with, you'll be able to do a few fire spells that you can take from level 1 to 2 by holding them a little bit longer, and doing so you'll get some extra power out of the spell. We make use of our unique evade, that kind of blink teleport, which interestingly has you evade very small distances, though it is a very flashy and cool sidestep, which is good for staying on target without moving too far. As I mentioned though, spellweavers use a variety of elements to deal damage, each kind of providing their own benefit. You can focus an element or playstyle to enhance it specifically long term, but you'll be given the first 3 pretty quickly. Fire damage can trigger the burn effect, which basically will deal damage over time, and that is really nice against big single target enemies where that damage can really matter. Lightning obviously has the ability to zap through and hit multiple targets without worrying about who's in front, and ice can also stun and slow and knock back enemies, which is really nice for the utility of that. Now I mentioned you have this standing combo which works a specific way. The basics cost no EP but do very little damage. Classes in this game have different types of basics. You have your standing basic, which doesn't do anything other than the neutral effect. In the case of the mage, it's not very good, but the sidestep will channel one quick big blast shot, which has the ability to stagger or even stun enemies, which can be very useful. The forward step has you charge a single shot, dealing more damage in a single hit, and I've yet to actually unlock the back step. Classes seem to get them at different levels. The basic attacks have real value though, because as I mentioned, they will debuff enemies, meaning as you hit them with a few basics or charged up basics, they'll suddenly have a debuff or many, meaning they're more vulnerable to various elements. When you hit them with, say, an element they're weak to, that element deals more damage. So this actually means weaving some lights between spells is worth it. Even if the damage isn't amazing, you're debuffing them and making them more vulnerable, which creates a fun loop beyond just using spells and then worrying about EP. Finally, the simple ranged nature of this class means you can always kite and avoid all damage. You don't have to be in there, meaning especially when it comes to hard content for your level, you can take on things that might be a bit too much for you to bite off normally, maybe with other classes. I was able to solo this level 6 boss at level 2, and it may have taken me a while, but thanks to the burn effect and the fact that I'm ranged and that I can debuff it, I was actually able to deal enough damage and never even get hit, which is just such an awesome thing to be able to do in a game like this. Overall, my first impressions are, yeah, really positive on this one. I think this is a fantastic rendition of a mage, spellcaster, spellweaver, whatever they're going to call it. This is a really fun version of a mage. I'll leave you with some gameplay to take a look and see how it actually works and feels without me talking about it. As always though, much later in levels you'll enhance specific abilities and change the way they work, so there's going to be a lot more to this class than just our, initial first day.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.